It is a dark and stormy night on Spooky Hill. The moon hides behind dark, foreboding clouds, and the wind whips the treetops. Somewhere deep in the ancient forest that surrounds Spooky Hill, an animal, maybe a wolf, howls into the night, and the cry is answered almost immediately by another. The clouds momentarily part, and the moonlight reveals two small figures emerging from the ancient forest and hurrying up the long, winding path towards the imposing building that sits on the crest of Spooky Hill.
Spooky Hall is really more of a castle than a hall, with high, dark stone walls, ornate glass windows, and a huge, imposing dark oak door that looks like it could keep an army at bay. Despite numerous windows, the hall appears to be in total darkness, with not one welcoming light, signaling that anyone is home. As the two children approach the entrance to Spooky Hall, they pause, looking apprehensively at the huge wooden door and the dark, uninviting building behind it. They start to talk in hushed, hurried tones, gesturing to the hall and the forest below, before eventually appearing to come to an agreement. They start forward once more.
There it is, Jack. I tell you, I think it is a wolf. We have to stop here and see if anyone is in. We really don't have any choice.
I know, Mary, but look at this place. Looks like the castle from every spooky TV show I have ever seen. It has a moat, a drawbridge, and even gargoyles. I tell you, this place gives me the creeps, and I think we should continue on the path. Maybe there will be another house, or a village, or something.
Don't be silly, Jack. It's just an old building, and we can see for miles on this hill. There's nowhere else to go. It looks like it's gonna rain any second. And don't forget the wolves.
I bet there isn't anyone in anyway. Look, there are no lights on. Who would sit in darkness on a night like this?
We still need to try. Without a tent, we will get soaked. And who knows what other wild animals might be lurking in the forest.
Or monsters.
What did you say?
Oh, nothing, Mary.
You aren't letting your imagination get the better of you again, are you? Just remember the trouble you caused when you were certain that pirates were digging for treasure behind the street. Dad had to spend ages on the telephone, apologizing to the telephone company.
Well, I admit I was wrong about that. But don't you think it is a little fishy us ending up here with the phone breaking and the signpost pointing in the wrong direction and that giant black dog running off with that tent pole?
You're being silly. It's just a series of unfortunate coincidences. And we are lucky the path led to this place at all.
I suppose you may be right, but I would rather we look for somewhere else all the same.
Well, you can do whatever you like. But I'm going to knock on this door and see if anyone is there to help us. Are you coming?
Hold on, Mary, I'm coming. Come on, Mary, there's no one in. We best get back to the forest path and see if we can find another house.
No, hold on, Jack. It's opening.
Yes.
Oh, hello. I'm sorry. sorry to bother you, but I and my brother are in a little bit of a pickle. Close your mouth, Jack.
Yes?
We were supposed to be camping in the forest, but the signposts all pointed in different directions. I dropped my phone in a puddle and a big black dog ran with a tent pole. We were wondering if we could use your phone to call our mum.
Well, we don't have a telephone at Spooky Hall, but I suppose that it would be okay for you to come in for a few minutes. I think it's about to rain.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Right. Well, welcome to Spooky Hall. My name is Higgins. It is getting late. Time for me to wake the master and mistress anyway. Please wait here, and I will inform them of your arrival.
Jack and Mary find themselves in a long, high ceilinged hallway with a huge, sweeping staircase that splits in two and leads off to the left and the right. Ancient looking paintings and tapestries line the walls, and two large suits of armors guard the base of the stairwell. The hallway is well lit by rows of candles running the length of the room and a giant candelabra hanging over the stairs. The windows are all covered in thick black curtains that stop all light from escaping the room and no doubt stop any daylight just as effectively. The children watched as the huge figure of Higgins slowly ascended the staircase and disappears through a wooden door to the left.
Still so sure this was a good idea?
You're being silly, Jack. I'm sure there's nothing to be alarmed about.
Alarmed? Didn't you hear him? He's going to wake the master and mistress. It's only 8 o'clock in the evening.
Maybe they like to go to the bed early.
Or maybe they like to live in a spooky castle, sleep all day, and make sure that the curtains keep out the sunlight. You know what I'm talking about?
You're being silly, Jack. There's no such thing as a vamp.
Welcome, my friends. Welcome to Spooky Hall. I am Count One Leaf. Higgins tells me that you have managed to get lost in the forest and something about a big black dog. Well, no matter. You are here now, and tonight you will be an honored addition to our dining table.
We need to get out of here right now.
For once, I agree with you. But the door is shut tight and I don't think we could be able to operate.
What are you two whispering about?
What? Oh, nothing. But how did you get down so fast? You were at the top of the staircase a second ago?
Darling, you should have told me we had guests. I would have changed into something special.
You look ravishing as ever, my dear. We do indeed have two young guests, although I do not know their names.
Oh, sorry. My name is Mary Slater and this is my brother Jack. We were lost in the forest and a big black dog stole our tent pole. It looks like there's going to be a tremendous storm. And we thought we would have to spend the night up a tree or something until we spotted your house. I was hoping to use your telephone to call our mum, but
Nonsense! You will stay the night in Spooky Hall as our guests. As I said, my name is Count Von Leaf, and this is my beautiful bride, the Countess Von Leaf. We often don't get visitors to Spooky Hall, so it will certainly make a change to our usual dinner plans.
Yes, welcome to our humble home. You will stay here tonight, and Higgins can take care of you in the morning. Have you children eaten yet? I am dying for a bite myself, but we'll wait until dinner time. Higgins!
Yes, my lady.
Oh, good. Please show our guests to their rooms and provide two extra places at the table.
Very good, my lady.
Oh, Aunt Higgins, where is my little Fluffy tonight?
I believe that he was out in the forest earlier, but returned a while ago, and I believe that he is in the dining room now.
Good. Then all is settled. Higgins will see you to your room, and we will join you to eat in a short while.
With that, Count and Countess Von Leaf abruptly turned and ascended the staircase. Higgins shuffles over to collect the stunned children and indicates that they should follow him. Through the an ornate doorway at the end of the hall, Mary and Jack stand still for a second, but realizing they had little choice, turned to follow the giant butler. The path through the door into another big room, which was dominated by a large dining table, already set with four places, as if Higgins had known they would be coming all along. Below the table, the children's eyes are drawn to a huge black dog that was happily chewing on a smooth wooden tent pole. The children turned to each other. This was going to be a very interesting night.
I I guess you'll be right, Jack.
What do we do now, Mary? We can't be seated here and expected to eat or be eaten.
Don't be foolish. We need to think. There has to be a way out of this place.
They suddenly feel the hot breath of the black dog on their ankles. The huge black dog was at their heels, drooling and looking out of the bunk room. He seemed to be asking questions like, I hope you guys stay for dinner. Uh, that's it? That's all I get to eat tonight? Suddenly, Higgins appears as if out of the woodwork.
So, why don't you follow me upstairs? Your room is ready for you.
We we feel quite comfortable here. In fact, we're not even hungry anymore. We should get going.
Mary
Hi.
started to move towards the main door when suddenly the big black dog blocks their way and starts to growl.
Oh, I see you are as hungry as we are. Just looking at you is making us more and more ravenous.
What? What do you mean by that? Why should you feel ravenous when you were looking at us?
Because, my dear, the Count gets doubly hungry when he has guests. You can imagine how lonesome this scheduled castle can be. It's absolutely deserted, and the spooky hill is the furthest away from the nearest sign of civilization. Like, we can't hear anyone from Spooky Hill, and no one, I repeat, no one can hear the loudest screams from. Isn't that true, my dear.
Oh, yes, of course. Not a squeak.
So whenever we have guests, the count has a bohemian appetite by mere excitement.
Saying this, the Count and the Countess led Jack and Mary towards their dining hall. The two of them followed them in a trance, as if they forgot they were on their way out. The big black dog stares at the Count in hopes for some treats.
Oh, Fluffy, you are one spoiled little baby. Let Higgins serve the dinner before you expect bones. Do you remember Genevieve? Last time when those bunch of kids were here and Fluffy couldn't wait until.
Stop, you, my dear. You forgot. We have guests.
The Count stopped what he was saying and stared at Jack and Mary.
Which guests? What happened to them? Are you sure we're not disturbing you? We had no intention to intrude, honestly. We just kind of got a delusion and lost. We would like to take your leave. I mean, Your Majesties.
Indeed. In fact, I was just telling Mary it is no big deal for us to be in the forest. After all, it is just a forest. I was wondering why is this named Spooky Hill?
I may have to visit the town tomorrow for some fresh supplies, considering that we may need some more ingredients now that our guests are here.
Jack and Mary looked at each other as they tried to understand the implication of the words spoken by the Count. And now, even Higgins, they were terrified out of their wits.
It's actually a very good question. I mean, good question, Jack. Why is this place called Spooky Hill?
Maybe because it's spooky, of course, and it has been this way for the past century. In fact, the owners felt that this was quite a befitting name for this place, considering the surroundings and the forest nearby and the eerie atmosphere.
Yes, we christened the place ourselves.
The children could not ignore that the place was christened a century ago, and the Count confessed to christening it himself. So, was he really that old? Suddenly, Jack stood up.
Thank you for your hospitality, dear Count and Countess. You have been awfully kind, and Fluffy has made us feel more than welcome. However, we regret to inform you that we will have to say goodbye.
What are you doing? You will be the end of us.
But I am sorry. You cannot leave.
Yes, obviously. You cannot. Nobody has ever left. I mean, leaving in the morning would be the best idea. The forest can be dangerous at this hour, and we don't want you to be harmed.
Of course not. We wouldn't want that. We are here to serve all your needs and make you feel comfortable. Oh, look, Fluffy seems upset at the mere idea.
The children were glued to the spot, and the three taunting figures surrounded them, while the unnerving and threatening presence of the dog was hard to ignore. The Count and the Countess exchanged hungry glances, while Higgins continued to smile and display a row of dangerously dark teeth as he petted the black dog.
That's it, Jack. This is where it all ends. We are dead meat.
If only you would have listened to me. Remember what mom says? There's always hope. When one door shuts, another.
Outside the spooky castle, a car screeched to a halt, and hurried footsteps were heard approaching the main door. Then there was a loud knock.
Anybody home? Yoo-hoo! Oh, come on. Anybody?
Higgins, the Count, and the Countess all exchanged puzzled glances. The children looked visibly relieved. Higgins approached and opened the main door.
Yes. My name is Doris. By the way, are you okay? Why are you talking like that? Well, can I use your phone? Actually, I'm looking for my children. They came here for a camping trip and oh my, there you are, both of you. Excuse me, mister. Give way. Move. Uh, uh, Excuse me. Stop, madam. Jack and Mary, there you are, you mischievous little scamps.
Mommy! We are so happy to see you, Mommy.
Mom, see, this place is called Spooky Hall, and this is Mr. Higgins, and this is the Count and the Countess.
Stop, Jack. Take a breath. Hello, I'm Doris. I presume that you may have gathered by now that I'm the mother of these two delightful little brats. I hope that they have not been much of a trouble to both of you charming people. Oh my! Look at these curtains.
Doris gawked and stared at the exquisite and ornate woodwork and the lavish drawing room that spoke volumes about the majestic lifestyle of the Count and the Countess von Leaf.
This is exquisite. Where did you get these curtains? Wow. I mean, wow. This is one of the best curtain fabrics I have touched. You must have really spent ages finding this fabric. I must tell you about the time I went to Walmart and needed the exact same resin shade. But they didn't have any. Can you imagine the salesman asked me twice? I mean twice which shade was resin. He did not know resin.
I know reason. It's that very dark shade of purple. It's almost black.
Excuse me, madam. I don't know what you're blabbering about. But what is Walmart? And why did you have to go buy curtains yourself? And please, can you speak a little softer? The entire spooky hall seems to be echoing with your shame. Us.
Dear Genevieve, I am sure you do not realize that the Madam Doris is here to collect her children, and we must not forget our manners, and we must invite her to join us for dinner.
The Count and the Countess exchanged grave glances and seemed to understand each other at once. The Countess flashed her beautiful smile and nodded her head.
Of course. You must stay for dinner, Miss Doris.
Mom, we must go home. We want to go home.
Now that you say dinner, I do feel pretty hungry. Jack, do wait on. I think we can surely be on our way soon after dinner.
But Mom, we do want to get out of here. This lady in that deep red gown may not be as charming as she looks. Did you see her vintage design gown?
Oh my dear Countess Genevieve. I love your gown. It's one of the most elegant and dainty dresses I have seen in a long time. Did you get it stitched by Madame Molly in downtown? She's a good tailor, but terribly expensive. I've
often thought of but never got anything stitched from her. You, my dear, look ravishing in that gown.
Oh, well, really. That is kind of the same. I have always had this dress in my cupboard, it seems. No one has ever praised my dresses before. I thank you once again, Madam Doris.
Oh, not at all. I know a cheaper tailor. Her name is Miss Edwards. Miss Rose Edwards. She has a good hand with the latest designs as well. I must tell you what happened to Rose's husband.
Dear master, like I said before, that dinner is served and we must proceed. I suppose you have not forgotten that we do follow some nightly rituals, and now that we have guests in Spooky Hall, um, we may have some extra things to do.
Mom, we can't stay here. Everything seems strangely creepy.
Really? Why do you say that?
For one, the Count said he christened the place 100 years ago. Secondly, he said whoever comes here never leaves.
Jack is right, Mom. The Countess became strangely agitated when we mentioned we wanted to leave.
Oh, what is the matter? Is everything all right with all of you? We must proceed for dinner.
Indeed, like I said before, I am famished.
The entire party moved towards the dining hall, and Doris held on to Jack and Mary firmly as she looked at the old oil paintings that adorned the walls, and suddenly her gaze was fixed on one portrait of a lady, dressed in a gorgeously flamboyant gown, with a generous smile and kind eyes.
Who is that, if you don't mind me asking? The face looks strangely familiar.
Oh, that is my dear grandmama. She was the pride of the Von Leaf family, and for generations we have been missing her presence in our lives. She was different. She was not one of us. I mean, she was my grandmama, but not one of us.
Suddenly, Doris's eyes grew wide, and the light of recognition shone on her face, and she looked radiant and scared at the same time. She stared at the beautiful lady in the portrait and knew why she looked so familiar. The expressions on her face resembled the moving shades on a sunset sky. From curiosity to fear to confusion to realization, and finally to determination. It seemed Doris knew exactly what to do now.
Mom, what is wrong? Let us go. I say let us skip dinner.
Oh, nothing, my darling. Let us eat.
It is strange that you ask about Grandmama Dorothy. She was quite popular in her times.
Madame Dorothy was different, but unusually kind, and it was strange to have someone so kind in the spooky castle. She liked the roses and lilies that grew in the garden. She made sure that all the vases were always adorned with fresh flowers. She was strange that way.
It's not strange to like fresh flowers and morning and sunlight. In fact, it's strange that you have such thick, dark curtains that won't let any light in.
The senior count had been loitering in the forest one night when he had met me. She was clearly lost in the senior count fell in love with her at the moment he saw her face. Oh, poor Dorothy! How miserable she was initially. Maybe that is why she had rather a short life of just 90 years.
Yes, dear granddad was inconsolable when Dorothy passed away. It took him years to recover. They were very happy together.
That is an interesting story. I have heard that there was a lady in our village who went up the spooky hall and never returned. But that was many years ago.
Yes, I have heard it too.
So, let's talk about your dresses, Countess. Do tell me more about them.
Oh, yes. Then there is a black gown that my mother gave me.
The Countess got deeply engrossed in conversation with Doris and spoke about her dresses at length, while the Count and Higgins exchanged uncomfortable glances, and the children looked confused. Suddenly, Doris sprang from her chair.
Oh, the dinner was sumptuous indeed. Now we must take your leave.
Oh, that won't be possible, my lady. It is late, and I insist that you stay for the night, so that master and mistress are assured that the guests are in good hands. You said you will leave in the morning.
Why do you talk like that? That won't be possible. No, uh, no, I need the. Is there a problem with your throat? I know a medicine that will cure it in an instant.
Mom, stop. What are we gonna do?
So you take a spoonful of honey, add a dash of ginger and freshly ground cinnamon, and have it twice. And don't forget to wash it down with some warm water. Come on, Mary and Jab. It's time we leave.
What is wrong? You look so flustered and agitated. Maybe you should stay the night. It is very late and quite unsafe, I must say.
Maybe it's not too late, Countess. It's yet not too late.
What do you mean? It is indeed wise to stay over.
Just like Dorothy, who stayed over for one night and could never return.
What do you mean, Madam Doris? What do you know about Dorothy? She can't be.
Yes, you guessed it right, Count One Leaf. She was my grandmother. She ventured out into the forest and got lost. Her husband and the little daughter waited for her to return and searched the entire forest but could never find her.
That's impossible. It can't be.
The expression on Doris's face alarmed the Count and the Countess, and they were at a loss of words to speak any further.
I grew up listening to this story from her daughter, that is my mother. We have a picture of Dorothy in our living room, a tattered and shabby remain of an old photo. But her eyes and her smile have not faded, even from that photograph. I will leave this place at once with my children, and I dare you to stop me.
Saying this, Doris opened the door of Spooky Hall and stepped out with Jack and Mary firmly by her side. The pink Cadillac revved into action, and Doris drove off with her children.
They say that the wolves had stopped howling on the spooky hill after that night. The nights did not seem as dark as before, and the passers-by even saw lights flickering in the spooky hall. There was also a careless rumor that Doris had bumped into the Countess while she stood for fitting at Madame Rose Edwards for another pink dress. They said that the Countess had smiled at Doris and taken some fashion advice. But whether this is true or it's just a rumor, we will never know.